Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Morning Essence Connection for February the 19th. I'm smart. I have my journal in front of me this time so I can get the days right. Yeah, this is what I've been putting together in my Soul Alchemist journal. So you can see that I take photocopies reduced to 25% of the cards, and so I can see what's unfolding over this period. So continuing with, we're almost halfway through this time, early spring, where things are starting to flow, but in all places, it flows and then it stops, and it flows and then it stops. It shows up differently in different places. It was very evident, in Canada where I was. We'd have these, I was just talking with someone, these mornings when you really feel that there's more strength in the sun, and hearing the trickle of water, and the snow is starting to melt, the ice is starting to melt, and it just feels like things are expanding. And then the next day, boom, another snowfall, and you're like, ugh. This is where lots of feelings come up. But here, same thing. Yesterday, going out to feed the birds, and there's like an ice in the air, and today it's just overcast. It's more about the wind and the sharp wind than it is the snow, but still, we open in the warmth, and then the cold comes, and we're like, and there's feelings around that. So this time, this early spring is all about really dealing with our feelings. I wasn't planning to talk about that. It's funny how things just start to come through as soon as you hit record. Let's see what the card says. Oh, I love it. Review your responsibilities. Not all responsibilities are ours to hold. This is what I had planned to talk about, because I'll tell you the thing that you're not responsible for: other people. You're not responsible for their feelings. That's a big one, isn't it? I'll talk about that in a second. You're not responsible for their experiences. You're not responsible for their perceptions. You're not responsible for their thoughts about you. I love Charles Whitfield in his book, Boundaries and Relationships, talks about, and I put a version of this, crediting him, of course, in The Noble Art. I am responsible for my feelings, my experiences, my choices, my thoughts, my consequences, my spirituality. That's what I'm responsible for. What I am not responsible for are your feelings, your thoughts, your actions, your consequences, your spirituality, your relationships. I'm not responsible for that. And so, tying into what we were talking about yesterday with the Trikena of Deer, power and respect, it's a whole other meditation. When I'm able to respect that within myself, I respect what my boundaries are. I respect what I'm responsible for. I own that. So yesterday I was feeling really, again, under the weather. It feels like this ebb and flow thing. And there's a part of me that's beating myself up because I've been indoctrinated with a message that says mind over matter. Doesn't matter if you're sick, you just keep going. And I'm trying to work with that, trying to honor what my body is feeling, what my feelings are telling me. And I'm grateful for the wisdom of a client who canceled. She's like, I'm sick, I'm not showing up. And I had a supervision. And I was like, oh, what's she going to think of me? She's going to think I'm a terrible therapist because I don't show up to my supervision. But what? I emailed and I'm like, I'm really sorry. I will reschedule it, or I will pay for the session, whatever works. But I'm not showing up today. And I was asleep by what would have been half an hour into that session. And I slept for 12 hours, But had I pushed through, had I been, what is she going to think of me? Or what is, what are the authorities? What is the BACP going to think of me, or the CRPO? Because I did make a commitment to this. But ultimately, the self-respect is, I respect that my intentions are good, my integrity is whole, my commitment is strong, and then sometimes there are variables. And that doesn't, other people may have their own thoughts about what's going on with those variables. I need to know what my own truth is. And this is for all of us. That's how we steer our ship true. And the more that I'm able to do that for myself, as the more we are able to hold the energy of self-respect. This is dear. Dear power is strong, but it's not forceful and oppressive. It doesn't push through. It doesn't mind over matter things. Doesn't matter what you're feeling. Doesn't matter what you're thinking. Doesn't matter what your hopes are. Doesn't matter what your heart says. Just do it. No. Remember that image of the fallen caryatid. What happens to Nike when she tries to shoulder the burden? When there's a part of her that knows it has to be put down. That's what happens when you just do it. The heart has to be engaged, otherwise it all falls apart. So, review your responsibilities. Take a breath. Drop in. Connect with essence. When I talk about heart, it is the heart that is filled with that soul of self, the essence self, the child within, not the wounds from the past, but that engagement in life. So connect to that. Feel the connection with essence within. And know that listening to that, protecting that, honoring that, heeding that, that is your responsibility. Deep breath in. Deep exhale. Thank you for being with me today, for being present for my wimblings, and always, as I say, may you be both of the earth and of the stars, and know that you are the magic that lies between. This is alchemy. This is alchemy. So blessings on your day.